My unemployed boyfriend embarrassed me in front of his podcast audience, so I ended his entire broadcast with one hand. The second I turned my key in the lock, I could hear the bass thumping. My stomach dropped. I had just survived a brutal 14-hour shift in the ER, and all I begged for, was one night of absolute, uninterrupted silence. Instead, my apartment sounded like a cheap nightclub in downtown Miami. I pushed the door open, and there they were. 3 guys I barely knew, huddled around my expensive oak dining table, shouting into fancy silver microphones. My boyfriend Jake had decided my only Sunday off was the perfect time to host his wannabe alpha male podcast. Empty energy drink cans were scattered everywhere, sweating condensation rings onto the wood. I stood there, dead on my feet, wearing scrubs that smelled like bleach and exhaustion. Jake saw me, muted his microphone, and gave me this annoying, dismissive little smirk. "Hey babe," he whispered loudly, waving a hand at me like I was a lost tourist. "Keep it down, okay? We're right in the middle of a killer segment. Go make yourself scarce." Make myself scarce in the apartment that I pay 75% of the rent for. One of his co-hosts, this guy wearing sunglasses indoors, snickered right into his mic. "Looks like the ball and chain is home, man. Better wrap it up before she grounds you." The entire table erupted into laughter. Jake didn't defend me. He didn't even flinch. He just puffed out his chest, leaning into the joke. "Yeah, bro, you know how these corporate girls get. No sense of humor." Something inside me didn't just snap. It exploded. I didn't walk to the bedroom. I marched straight up to the dining table. Jake's eyes went wide as I reached right into the center of his precious setup. "Whoa, babe, what are you doing? Don't touch that. It's live!" Jake yelled, half standing out of his chair. I wrapped my hand around the main power cord of his expensive audio mixer and yanked it out of the wall. Pop. A horrible, high-pitched screech blasted through their headphones before everything went dead silent. Jake's face turned purple. "Are you insane?" he screamed, slamming his fists on the table. "You just ruined our best episode. That is a $500 mixer, you psycho." "Actually, Jake," I said, my voice dangerously low but loud enough for every single one of his friends to hear, "it's my $500 mixer because you bought it on the credit card that I pay the bill for." The room went completely still. You could hear a pin drop. I turned my glare to his friends. "Fun fact, boys, this hustle he brags about, it's funded by me, wiping up blood and vomit for 14 hours a day. I pay the rent. I pay for the Wi-Fi you're using. I even bought those energy drinks you're spilling on my table." I grabbed a plastic trash can from the kitchen and slammed it onto the oak table right next to the microphones. "You have exactly 3 minutes to pack this garbage up and get out," I said, staring dead into Jake's eyes, "or it all goes in the dumpster." "You can't do this to me in front of my boys," Jake hissed, stepping closer, trying to use his height to intimidate me. I didn't back up a single inch. I pulled out my phone, typed 911 on the keypad, and held my thumb hovering right over the green call button. "Try me. I will gladly report 3 trespassers and 1 unemployed squatter who isn't even on the lease." His friends didn't wait to see if I was bluffing. They started frantically shoving cables into backpacks, tripping over each other to get out the front door without making eye contact. Once they were gone, Jake stood there shaking with rage. "We are done," he spat. "Finally, we agree on something," I smiled, tossing him an empty trash bag. "Pack your clothes, Jake. You're sleeping in your car tonight." I locked the deadbolt behind him and poured myself a massive glass of wine. "Tomorrow, I'm calling the landlord. But tonight, the silence is golden."